Welcome to the Fearfic Podcast, Abysmii, BP, Chelsea. Go.
What shot are you taking? Are you taking a shot? Anchor.
Yeah, I recently purchased Japanese whiskey, which I've been wanting to try for a very long time, because apparently they keep winning fucking awards. So that's what I'm doing. It's called, oh god, EY? IWAI? EY?
Probably. That sounds about right.
It's good shit. What about you?
I am going to be, my shot is going to be Jägermeister cold brew, which is just like
nice.
coffee Jägermeister. It's really good. It has like cacao and Arabica coffee, as my coworker calls it.
Arabica
coffee. And then I'm also drinking a Rheingeist, which is like it's a beer, but like it's infused with grapefruit and orange juice, and it's like not overly sweet. It's nice and tasty and tart. It's very good. Chelsea is presumably not drinking because she just got done sewing and is going to sew after this.
I have Turkish coffee to keep me awake and water for hydration.
Okay,
nice.
Chelsea, we have shots, and you have a tiny cup in front of you too of Turkish coffee that is steaming hot. You're going to need to shoot that.
All
Grounds
right,
and all.
All right, I'll just cheers.
Cheers.
Yummy grounds.
Yummy grounds. So this is going to be the Frisky Dingo episode. Hopefully there's a bunch of references to that.
Hope so too.
Since we don't have Slimebeast, who refuses to watch the cool show that all the cool kids watch.
That he could watch like the entirety in an afternoon, but decides just not to.
In 2 hours. It's like 2 hours you can watch all of Frisky Dingo. We tried watching it with him, and he's just like, I don't see what's so funny about this.
I don't get it.
So this episode, we're going to spend an entire hour talking about Resident Evil remakes and Silent Hill remakes, because we haven't done that. Because we didn't do that last episode.
That's never happened before.
Nope.
Chelsea is here for moral support, I suppose.
I'm your emotional support, Chelsea.
You're going to be Slimebeast in this episode, so you have to.
Oh no!
So you have to like throw random meowing in the background.
Meow. Meow.
I love specifically that his cats will just like meow a little bit to get his attention, and then he's doing the podcast, so he's not paying attention, and then they will get indignant, and it just goes from like meow to.
I don't think you heard me.
Don't think you heard me. So we're going to be reading some fan fictions, apparently. We're reading one about Resident Evil 5. I have in my notes, this is a Resident Evil 5 fan fiction written before the release of Resident Evil 5.
Oh, wow. Yeah. April 4th, 2004.
Oh,
so
wow.
they are predicting what will and won't be in this game. So that is an interesting concept to me. But this is like a weird archaeological find. This is like when you find the fan fiction that's like a spicy fan fiction written by somebody that hasn't had sex. That's what we're dealing with here. We're reading a fan fiction of a game that a person hasn't played.
There we go. All right.
Okay, here's a question. In the real world, we see Twitch streamers getting the police called on them in hopes of getting them attacked, and we call this swatting. I have a question for you. Do you think that you get false alarms of a zombie outbreak? You got like a heroin addict neighbor, and they're up all night making noise. Do you call them? Do you like SWAT them and say like, "Hey, my neighbor is a zombie. You got to come kill them."
You got to stars them.
You got to stars. Yeah, you get the Star Squad to come out.
Hey, there's another one outside.
That would be an interesting thing of just like the body cam footage is released, and it's like, listen, you can clearly see in the body cam footage the person didn't have red bloodshot eyes. There were no telltale signs of would that be a legal argument in that world, do you think?
I always got the feeling that Stars was like extrajudicial, so like it doesn't matter. Like they basically come in and go, federal privilege, fuck off.
Well, Stars was like meant for it. Like, it is technically a local police department when it started. It wasn't for like tackling zombies, because like later on they figure out they're zombies, but like Stars just gets called in. Yeah. And they're supposed to just be like a SWAT team, but they gave them a weird name.
Yeah.
Is that what they call it? You call it getting starred?
Starred.
Instead of getting swatted, you get starred.
Starring in this body cam footage is
a person that's not a zombie, but I thought they were in the heat of the moment. And my
oopsie.
That's you get the police that just like to justify whatever they do on the body cam, just like zombie before they shoot. To call out their intention to hopefully ameliorate it in court.
Look out, he's undead. It's like a dude pushing a shopping cart.
Huh?
What? Huh? Ah!
Look, he's moaning like a zombie. No, I'm a human.
I got shot. Help.
Why are you acting like a zombie? I'm trying to detox off coffee.
Dude, it's 2 a.m. I'm really tired. You woke me up.
Why were you pushing a shopping cart in your bed at night? I'm just wondering, how we have a lot of controversy around police in the real world. I'm just wondering how it would play out in a zombie world. Like, it's got to be exponentially more complicated. Again, during the zombie apocalypse, it's basically chaos buffering up against martial law. So if there was ever like some weird middle ground, it would be very complicated. And I like that we're talking about this because Slimebeast has a series about zombies in the real world, where they're just like a normal thing. He wrote fucking forever ago, but he's not here, so we're gonna write it for him. It's very complex, and I imagine what happens. What happens if, like, your spouse becomes a zombie? You have to technically divorce them still, but how do you divide assets? Another question, like, if you have access to a zombie virus and you hate your wife and just want a clean divorce, you could just infect her, tie her down, wait for her to turn into a zombie, and then shoot her. Yeah.
Sorry, she doesn't get anything.
She's, listen. So it just gets to be, there's so many legal quagmires that we haven't thought about that would happen
that you can weaponize a zombie virus. Like, it's almost like the purge. Like, this totally changes the paradigm of society at this point.
Would you be able to, I guess this isn't an answer, maybe Chelsea would know, because I know that she's like worked in like with coroners, like volunteering before. I wonder, would you be able to shoot your whore cheating wife in the head, infect her with a zombie virus to reanimate her, and then shoot her in the head again? Do you think that they would be able to tell the difference between the gunshots, whether one is before they turned into a zombie and one is after? It's like, no, the brain kind of corroded here, so I can tell the difference between the gunshots.
Yeah. I think you could.
I think, probably.
Because presumably undead, like, your body, everything about your body, like structure and how your skin reacts to things and all that changes. So they could probably see like, well, this one had an exit wound. This one didn't because it hit zombie mush.
This gets even weirder with police, because like I'm just stressing how much of a quagmire this would be with police officers, which it's already like a big issue in the real world. Instead of planting drugs on them, you just turn them into a zombie. Listen, I got their handcuffs on them. I got duct tape over their mouth for some reason, and they just turned into a zombie at that point. I'm really lucky to not be bit.
What happens if, like, you're on the scene and there's a zombie outbreak, and a zombie has, for lack of a better phrase, taken someone hostage, or like grappling them and trying to bite them, and then the hostage gets bitten? Do you then just shoot the hostage? Because it's like, well, if I don't shoot them, they're going to become a zombie. Presuming there's no cure. So, but
it takes like 2 hours. It takes like 2 hours. So you're just like,
do you arrest them and say you're going into quarantine and then we will eventually kill you? Like, do your rights end when you've been infected? I don't know.
Yeah, because you're basically, there's no rehabilitation at that point, right? Oh. So, or is it a thing where it's just like, okay, you might have got hit with a strand that's reversible or not.
Who knows?
That's even worse, because then that person has every ability to just be like, listen, it's like a 50-50 shot that I get cured. I have to do violence to this police officer because they're going to take me in. Oh man, there's so many legal quagmires here, and ethical ones too. Like everybody thinks about the ethical quagmires that are brought up of like, oh, it's they're still in there somewhere, but like, what about the legal quagmires?
Oh man, the paperwork. None of you have any idea.
Oh my god! Do you have to have like experts in this? Would every police officer have to know how to respond to zombie outbreaks?
Yeah, and you know what? Like, okay, you have a nursing home and you infect all of them with the zombie virus.
Liking this so far.
So they can't die. And as long as they're under your care, you collect, whatever fucking
You collect their pensions.
Exactly. You can just do it in perpetuity is what I meant to say. Like forever. Because, some people would probably be like checking up on Nana. No, Nana's a zombie. But for the people who just like shove their elder ones into a fucking home and never want to deal with them again, do they even check in? Probably not. You could run a scam that way.
Would that even necessarily be better? Because like you could let's say that they don't just survive off human brains or whatever. You can kind of like feed them whatever food. They just want to bite people. Like they're like a wild animal now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Is infecting them just going to make them more docile and easier to entertain, and they don't have to worry about their loved ones showing up anymore? They're just in this. They just effectively get domesticated into zombie pets in an old folks zombie home.
What if you like opened a zoo, turned it into a zoo, give them little enclosures?
Okay, this gets even weirder. So we're talking about running a scam because you're their custodian. They're in your care. They're undead. They're not going to die.
Yeah.
And you keep feeding. You can do this for forever. The old folks home will get like 300-year-old. Like you can just inherit. You could be a zombie baron, a zombie healthcare old folks home baron.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Forever. Damn.
Forever. You just keep making money off of it. It's like having a Bitcoin farm, but it's old people that have been turned into zombies.
Oh my god.
It's not crypto. That's just crypt.
That's just. That's so fucking insane. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I'm glad we discussed this because there's just so much you can break down there. Let us know if you have any legal issues that would be caused by the existence of zombies down in the comments, because I'm sure that we're just scratching the surface. That might be a fun like TV show, like a police procedural about
with zombies, yeah.
About what happens in a world with zombies. We already got a terrible movie about what would happen if there were orcs in the real world by a known sex pest in Hollywood. What about, the procedural zombie show?
That's what the Resident Evil show on Netflix should have been.
Oh my god, you're so right.
That's what it should have been. And it would have been so much easier, yet more interesting, entertaining to make.
Up and down, terrible idea. No reason that it should have existed. But Lance Riddick as Wesker, I struggle to think of better casting. I think he was hilarious as Wesker and did a great job with it in a way that getting a white guy with a blonde haircut to just be snide and power hungry would not be.
So difficult.
I guess let's figure out what this Resident Evil 5 fan fiction has going on. We'll go Brandon, Abysmii, Chelsea.
Okay.
Brandon, Chris, Chelsea. Since there's one Chris now, we don't have the confusion.
True.
This is
Chris?
Who's Chris?
Who?
I'll never get over visiting in California, and Paprika just kept going. Yeah, Chris is getting tired. He needs to go home. Because she's just like your steward for some reason. Chris is tired. He needs to go home.
Who?
And Abysmii is just like, no, Chris wants to stay out, have fun with friends.
I forget. There was the episode where Paprika, Slimebeast, and I did our episode, and she said Chris, and we both said, who the fuck is Chris? And usually that sounds staggered because of Skype delay, but we said it perfectly staggered, so on the recording it came out in unison, and I was so fucking happy when I heard that. I was like, fuck yes, it finally happened.
Can we all take a second to appreciate how Chelsea drew Paprika?
Oh, I love it.
Finally, a canonical version of what she looks like as a ghost demon hunter person,
Mhm.
and it's just excellent.
Yeah.
I was very happy with that. I'm like, fuck this episode and these 3 shitters in it. Chelsea fucking killed it with this art.
Thank you.
Okay, introduction. First off, I would like to state that I am no way affiliated with Capcom. We're going to skip all of that part because we are fully aware. 9 months after the events of Resident Evil 4, October 19th, 2005, I-95 to Ocean, New Jersey, which I don't You're just like,
No, don't go that route.
Chelsea and I
Even
have been-
before the outbreak, don't do that.
Wait, did we go to New Jersey?
We did not go to New Jersey.
We didn't go to New Jersey.
I've been to New Jersey once, and I don't really want to go back.
Yeah.
We went over the summer. We went to Connecticut, Boston, and New York with Prasicor, and we had a great time there. But boy, as a Ohioan, there's a certain amount of distance that we keep from people, and New York.
Yeah.
It's just, I'll say this: everybody on the subway station wore deodorant. And that's all I can ask because they were up on me. I was penetrated a little, which was fine. I understood that that's just their culture. Rain stuck to the hard ground, falling from the clouds like tiny crystals. A blue Hyundai drove down I-95. Jill Valentine was inside. The car tires slapped all the liquid on the road back up into the air. It was about 7:30 p.m. timestamp, and the soft green glow-in-the-dark interior symbol showed a bad sign. So we're just imagining the desert of Africa, but it's in New Jersey.
It's South Africa, Cape Town. I don't know, baby.
Cape Town, New Jersey.
Damn it! Jill looked at the gas meter. Empty. The car halted to a stop. It kind of warns you a little bit before that, before the reserve tanks kick in. And Jill squeezed the leather steering wheel. Then she loosened her grip. Then she squeezed it again and made a half smile. Okay. She leaned.
Well, okay. I think that they're describing Jill pretty well because she will kind of like do that like smirky smile thing when she's frustrated.
Okay.
That is like a small little character trait that they never like say, but it shows up in a lot of animations.
Was Jill in number 5?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
For a quick synopsis for people who haven't played Resident Evil 5, they're called to Africa. Chris is. Jill died a year earlier falling off a cliff that she's totally not going to come back from. And they're getting word that there's BOWs, bioorganic weapons, in Africa. He meets up with Sheva. Sheva's black. There's like some unspoken racial tension. You know how like in Night of the Living Dead, there's like unspoken racial tension where they never say anything. They never say anything racist. There's none of that. It's just all fucking mood and tension. Resident Evil 5 does this really well where Chris is kind of like apprehensive, but he's nice, but he's apprehensive. And Sheva's kind of the same way. Mm-hmm. So there's that. And then Jill shows up as a mind-controlled bot later on.
Okay. She leaned back.
I'm just like, listen, it's really good and subtle. And then also there's Jill as a mind-controlled bot.
Jill's an NPC. She leaned back in her seat and stared at the dented and half-crushed pack of cigarettes, leaning in the cup holder under the radio. Winston, the label said. Jill didn't smoke, but for some reason she bought a pack, and a week or so ago, she counted the remainder. 7.
Well, maybe these will warm me up. With one hand, Jill unbuckled her seatbelt. With another, she moved the web-like strands of wet, red hair in front of her face. Her jacket was soaked, and her newspapers were too. They were slanted on the passenger seat, dripping everywhere.
I guess we have redheaded Jill?
I was going to say...
I guess so.
Is she redhead? I don't think she is.
Okay, so originally she was like a brunette. It was kind of like a reddish brunette, but it's like a brunette.
Yeah.
And then in Resident Evil 5, her hair is dyed blonde because she's a mind-controlled bot, and blonde is Aryan, so... Symbolism.
It's this great subtle game, I swear.
Listen, Resident Evil 5's good, guys, I swear.
Swear. Jill took one finger and turned on the radio knob. CD player came on instead. Her other hand reached for the cigarettes, pulling one out of the pack with her mouth. She felt the crinkled plastic. The CD didn't really fit the mood. It was jazz. She popped it out and turned to a random station. Jill pushed the car cigarette lighter in. The radio station was news, and the cigarette that had already been hanging loosely from Jill's lips fell on the floor as her eyes widened.
Random radio station here for Imagine Dragons. Every Imagine Dragons song once an hour.
This is weird because all I'm getting from this is someone like played Resident Evil and went, man, I really wish that Jill was a redhead and smoked. Oh well.
If you imagine this as a noir detective thing, then that's a lot better.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe she lights the cigarette and unlights it back and forth like the one guy does in Fear.com. Puts it in his mouth, lights it, cuts away, turns back, the cigarette's unlit, and he takes it out of his mouth and puts it back in, thinks about lighting again, and lights it again, cuts back again, it's unlit.
Yes.
The story cigarette.
It's a joke cigarette. It's like one of those candles that won't blow out.
Yeah.
The news DJ and caster, Greg Turkins, begins to speak.
That is a name.
It's a choice.
Greg Turkins. Grand Moff Tarkin.
Greg Tarkov. After the events at Raccoon City, Umbrella Corporation has shut down its European and Asian branches to help fund the production of New Raccoon City, located a few miles off the original site. It will have more rooms. More room? More room. Not more rooms. It's not a giant hotel the size of a city. Sorry. For an additional 4,500. Guys, I haven't read out loud in a hot minute, and my
3 months.
my dyslexia is showing up more than it normally does. 4,500 people added to the already large few hundred thousand population rate. I don't think that sentence was perfect.
Yeah. Well, I'll wait till the paragraph's done.
Umbrella Corp is also taking its European branch stock funds and adding it to the rebuild of the North American branch.
There is a lot of information in these two sentences, and none of it tracks. After Raccoon City, Umbrella shut down 2 other continents worth of operations and is stuffing everybody into a new city. And Europe is also helping. I guess.
In practical terms, wouldn't the more realistic thing just be like, you created zombies? We're going to sue you for a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to investigate you and sue you. I guess maybe if they're like in league with the deep state or something, they're just like, just rebuild a new city. It's okay.
Where is the Resident Evil game just called Umbrella Corp Too Big to Fail?
Yes.
Listen, did Umbrella do a lot of terrible things? Yes, but
they brought jobs to the region.
They brought jobs. If you shut them down, insulin prices are going to go up, and that'll just be the American taxpayers' fault.
If you shut down Umbrella Corp, then the zombie cure for the zombies they created is going to shoot up.
That's hilarious.
It's so true, though.
It's so true. It's horrifyingly true.
God, they really they need. I would prefer if they leaned into just the fucking big business, big pharma aspect of Umbrella Corp. It's always hinted at, but it's never. I don't know.
Okay. So what I'll say about that is as a person who is a casual Resident Evil fan, you probably don't know that the extended lore goes into that. Real deeply, and they do a great job.
Yeah, I'm just saying from exactly as an outside viewer, I don't see much of it, and I wish they did.
You don't get a whole lot of it in the games. You get a little bit, but not enough. However, the animated movies that everybody says is shit, bar any logic or reason why, they go into that in great detail, especially the first one, Resident Evil Degeneracy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. They really do just be like, hey, big pharma, big problem. Okay, we got it. That is the entire movie is just I don't want to give too much away, but like there's a very evil politician character that everybody focuses on, while there's like a nefarious pharmaceutical guy that just gets away with everything.
I know Brandon and I just talked about bumper stickers now that don't do anything, but I do want a bumper sticker that just says "Big Pharma, big problem."
You know, whenever I see a bumper sticker that's really ironic and it's just like it's something like Bush Cheney 2024.
Sure.
Like if I see that bumper sticker, I'll honk at that person. That person is nice and funny.
I saw one in the parking lot on a pristine truck that definitely does not actually serve any work purpose, but it said ISIS hunting permit. And I'm just like, you've never left this fucking city, have you? You've never gone overseas. You don't even know where the fuck the Middle East is on a map. Like,
yeah,
damn, dude. Who are you trying to impress? I could kill terrorists. Terrorists are bad. Brave take. Even if they actually served in the military, there's no way that you put that on. That's so cringe. I had to laugh. It was hilarious. That's your you staking your public claim is just like, listen, I don't care for ISIS very much. And I don't care who knows it.
I don't care who knows it.
But I want everyone to know it.
That's why I get so frustrated when people like poo-poo the term virtue signaling. It's just like, no, I'm just standing up for what I believe. It's just like, okay, did you take a controversial opinion? Because if you didn't, shut the fuck up. There's no like, I think good things should happen to good people and bad things should happen to bad people, and I don't care who knows it.
Excuse me. Jill stopped breathing and just listened.
Thank God.
Terrified. Jill stopped breathing. The story ended.
The end.
Production has already started on the rebuilding of Raccoon City. Umbrella Corp hopes to have Project Rebuild and Revolutionize Raccoon City. It's a very, very poorly thought up slogan. Finished by May 2006. Thanks
Make Raccoon City great again.
Mar-a-Lago? Oh my God.
That's going to rebuild Raccoon City. It's going to be wonderful. They're saying they've never seen a recovery like this.
Oh my God. Can one of Trump's aides like just feed him like the Resident Evil storyline, but don't tell him it's a video game, and then he'll like get up and just start talking about Biden's not even trying to revitalize Raccoon City. I heard there was a horrible tragedy there. No one's talking about it. Fucking beautiful.
He would just say like Raccoon City rebuild project going terribly. Biden absolutely awful, terrible.
I'm trying to get in touch with Jill Valentine's people right now.
My heart goes out to what happened to Jill Valentine. Couldn't imagine it. That's so bad for him. I'm bad for her. I'm sorry.
I would die. I would fucking
getting turned
die.
into a blonde Aryan sex robot. Awful.
Awful. Not what America needs.
No, but
these blonde sex robots are out here corrupting the youth.
Telling them that it's perfectly normal to get peed on. I would never use such services. I can get blonde women to pee on me consensually with money.
That's all for the state news feed here at KWJB. Next up is the local OC weather forecast. My original creation weather forecast. Hold on.
Today we're getting some black rain coming in from the east. This character is going to be Asian and is written by a white man.
OC weather for what
Orange County?
Yeah, but like she's going to New Jersey.
Yeah.
OC.
Mm-hmm.
What could that fucking mean?
Listen,
whatever.
No. You're misunderstanding. Raccoon City is located directly between Orange County, California, and New Jersey. Okay, it's on the line. It's on the border.
It is smack dab in the middle of northeast fucking Oklahoma.
Northeast West Coast.
Oh God.
This person doesn't understand how American geography works. Maybe they're Japanese. Maybe they're this is an actual writer, and their story pitch for Capcom got thrown out. But
this is gonna piss me off.
This is how America works.
No, I typed in OC and it comes up Orange County. That cannot mean anything else. What the fuck does OC mean?
There is no. I will vote for any president who wants to get rid of the term Midwest.
Yes. Yeah.
I hate it.
It is so horribly outdated as to not describe the region at all.
It is insane that in current year we say the term Native American and Indian, and we realize that it was fucking insane that we called Native Americans Indians. Like, we understand that, and we're still calling the Eastern Seaboard the Midwest.
Yeah, God, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Next up,
Ohio.
Honestly,
I would rather that happen than us get rid of the imperial system versus the metric system. Like, that has to go first.
It'd be very easy too. One click. Next up is a local OC weather forecast, and for that, we're sending you to...
Click. Jill turned the knob again, and the radio LCD screen turned from its tune numbers to the clock again. Jill brought her hair back behind her ears and looked out the window. She swallowed and took short breaths.
That's
Jill had been... Huh?
the story of Jill's life.
This is... Yeah.
Jill had been through 2 ordeals involving the Umbrella Corporation. The manipulative, scheming bastards had no remorse for human life. Jill searched for her cell phone. She tore that newspaper off the seat and spotted the phone about to slide off of the passenger's side dashboard. She snatched it before it fell and quickly dialed the number for information. She needed a tow. She also needed some rest, and her nightmares were about to start all over again.
She was stuck in traffic on a busy highway, and
New Jersey.
To New Jersey.
There was a bunch of snow.
That's the real horror story.
The people in the car in front of her were making out, and she was kind of feeling it.
So let me get this straight.
It's like that one animation.
This author thinks or predicted that Resident Evil 5 would be about
Jill getting stuck in traffic.
Jill getting stuck in traffic to turn around because Umbrella Corp made a new city. Is the granted, this says introduction. Is this supposed? Wait, no, hold on. Enjoy chapter 1. So this implies that there was going to be more. There isn't. So you think you would have a more like you would lay more groundwork in your first chapter and then kind of fill in the gaps of details. But this is just Umbrella Corp's acting up again and Jill stuck in traffic. That's it. That's all we have here.
Obviously, you should always write for your own enjoyment, unless someone is paying you to do it, which is a hard thing to have happen. So write for your own enjoyment. However, what I would say is if part of your enjoyment is contingent on other people enjoying what you wrote, you should probably not just release something. You should probably get your ducks in order and release a finished product or a minimum viable product for people to enjoy and get feedback on, and just expect that it's not going to go anywhere because it's really hard to get eyes on stuff on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would say is there's all of this planning and setup here without any payoff, and you just want to avoid that as an author. Like, don't or a creative period. Just like don't get caught up in like a bunch of minutia. Give people the action that they enjoy up front.
You're like, you're writing a Resident Evil thing. I'm sure this author knows obviously what Resident Evil is. You kind of got to lean into that a bit and not be like, where's the sentence? Jill turned the knob again, and the radio LCD screen turned off from its tune numbers to the clock again. That's a long-winded way of saying Jill turned off the radio, and like that's all you needed to put. Like, you need to do that and then get to, a zombie pops out and like bangs on her windshield. That's what should have happened in that sentence.
I'm sure that Chelsea would have a lot more information about this than we would. How do you feel personally about a story, a fan fiction? Do you think that it should play into what you already know? Should we like learn details about Jill, or should we just go in assuming that we know who Jill is? How do you feel in general?
I feel like some basic information should be laid out, especially for making like changes to the character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is her hair red?
Yeah.
They don't explain that. They do kind of explain.
Why is she in like New Jersey traffic? Like,
why is she getting into smoking? Like, I'm fine with that, but it could have been, she didn't used to be a smoker, but the events of blah blah blah, kind of turned her on to the addiction or something. Like, that's perfectly fine, but it's just she thought they'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there is a little bit of that of like they're trying to give you information about why she's smoking now, and I do think that that's cool. I think we all agree that that's cool. It's just not developed on.
There's nothing to it. Yeah.
But no, so that's how you generally feel, is that even if we know who Jill is, you think that we should get a little bit of background information about her?
I think so, just because, like, you know, maybe it's been a while since you've played the video game or had any interaction with the media the fan fiction is based off of. So having like a little bit of information that can jog memories, I feel usually good.
Do you feel like most fan fiction is written for other people who are already like they're in the fandom, so they wouldn't need as much explanation for Jill? Or even this is like really just doesn't even have a skeleton to it?
That I don't know, because I don't normally read Resident Evil fan fiction.
Well, just in general, like any fandom.
I feel like there's usually like at least a little bit of backstory, like especially in the first chapter of just, oh hey, like so and so is from, like there's usually a little bit of background just in case.
Okay.
So my issue that I've always kind of had with fan fictions is there is this like weird self-indulgent reestablishing of things that don't need to be reestablished. And like when I was trying to get into fan fiction, especially like saucy ones, it would just be like, all right, what's being written at the time? And at the time, the only thing people were writing was Naruto, Sasuke banging each other. Which in upon itself is not my ship.
No.
You know, not knocking people for liking those two very bland characters. But every story I read was just like redescribing what they look like at the beginning. And I'm like, I fucking know what Naruto and Sasuke look like, my guy. Like, that's the thing I know going in. Why is that being reestablished to hell and back? And like, I like it when stories are just trying to offer me something new and building off of what I already know. It's like, okay, I already know that this is Jill Valentine from Resident Evil. I can get that background information somewhere else. What are you adding new to it for me is my question always.
As flimsy as it was, the I think it was Archive of Our Own we read of Resident Evil 4. You know, it was very much just kind of retreading a lot of stuff, but there was no extended paragraph of what Leon looks like. It was just Leon doing his thing of looking for keys to open up more doors. It didn't add much, but at least it didn't waste my time.
Well, you know, that kind of gets weird too, of like, okay, well, what should you add? Like that's always the question that I wrote a fan fiction, a spicy one that involves Siege, and I know that most people don't care about that, but it is interesting that like writing it, I had to get a lot of feedback from Chelsea of like, am I adding too much detail that people already know about? And like trying to figure that out was a big source of anxiety as a writer for me, and that's why I did it, to try and like learn about a new writing style. I specifically did it just for that reason, and I came to my conclusions about how much information I should lead in, but ultimately it was designed for people that already knew the source material, and I figured that out. And I think you have to figure that out as a fan fiction writer. Are you writing this as a self-indulgent thing where everybody already knows what's happening, or is it designed for letting people learn about it, you know?
I think by virtue of what it is, it's definitely who like, for someone to actually stumble upon this, they're already in the fandom. Like, why else would you go to this website and look this up?
We can go to Chelsea for this. Chelsea,
yeah.
You read a lot of lesbian fan fiction. Do you always know what's going on in the fandom?
No.
Really? Okay.
No.
So she's
sometimes I read a story and I'm like, I don't even know what fandom this is. I don't know what genre this is from. I don't know what media this is created for.
I stand corrected.
The question is Chelsea the normal viewer, or is she a weird lesbian psychopath?
I am probably just a weird lesbian psychopath. So there's that.
But like from the author's perspective, are you writing assuming people may not know a lot about the fandom? Do you care? You know, like, are you ostensibly always writing for someone who's going to have some passing familiarity? I guess is my question. I don't know.
And I guess Chelsea doesn't know either.
I don't know either. I guess, honestly, I think that's up to each person that's writing. And I feel like a lot of...
I've never wrote fanfic. If I had to, I imagine I would write it, I would write something new, a new like scene or whatever, but I would be writing within the established tropes and background of whatever source material it's from. And I would not be writing it I'd be writing it for myself, but I also, as a secondary audience, would not be writing it for people who didn't know about, I don't know, fucking Gundam Wing or whatever. Like, I wouldn't be like, for the people who don't know about Gundam Wing, this, like, why would I bother? Like, you're reading a Gundam Wing fanfic. Know what Gundam Wing is.
Okay, so, like, the question is your, my mindset is always around, spicy pornographic content and that kind of stuff. So it's like, if your story is about characters from Gundam Wing banging, then I think that all of the lore details aren't important. It's just about Gundam Wing kids banging.
True.
But if you're writing a story that is supposed to be a epic space opera, then I guess you do have to like throw those details in. You know what I mean?
But
yeah.
Like epic space opera set in the Psych universe,
Psych universe. They're all it's all the Gundam Wing kids voring each other.
Oh no, my Gundam's eating me from the inside.
No, it's all about like Psych, like Sean Spencer,
We are straight men in our 30s. We don't watch Psych.
Sorry.
Oh, Lord. I guess maybe we should pop over to the Silent Hill story.
Ooh, spooky.
Spooky. You too, Vamp. I'm going to go pee real quick. Elias, edit this out.
Same. Be right back.
Hello, I'm the health...
Hello, welcome to Cupcakes for Human Beings. I'm Becky, the human being, here to try our millennial cupcakes.
Actually, I'm the health inspector and...
Oh, I should clarify. The millennial cupcakes aren't made of millennials, but instead made of platonic concepts that appeal to millennials. I am fully aware that consuming fellow human beings is a taboo among many cultures, including mine. Even if they're just younglings. Even younglings. Funny, but those are the rules.
Stop. Well, that's a lot to unpack, so let's put a pin in that. I'm the health inspector, Tim Derricks, and we received word that a bakery has opened up without having any kind of license whatsoever, and I'm sure you didn't just roll into this outlet mall and set up shop, so...
Oh, I quite literally did. Wait, actually... Are you a op?
I don't know what an op is.
And you're not a fed either, right?
Fed? No, I work for the local government.
Oh, perfect. Then yes, I did. Come here, I'll show you.
Oh my god, at least she's welcoming. Good Lord Mormon Jesus, what is a tank doing back here?
It's not so much a tank as it is an industrial cupcake oven with anomalous properties. However, it can function as a tank if we ever get into World War III. I am always happy to participate in human activities.
There is no way that's a cupcake oven, woman.
The friend who gave it to me said people would say that, so I hid it in the back. You, like myself and most other humans, don't like seeing how our food is made. But here, try this cupcake hot off the muzzle.
Wow. This... I can't describe this in any other way than to say it tastes like a $15 minimum wage.
Do you like it? It's been very popular among the millennials who have tried it.
What flavor is this?
Oh, you were right. $15 minimum wage flavor. There is a lot of demand for that flavor for some reason. It's trendy, like pumpkin spice or rapidly increasing debt. Here, inspect the health of our 1990s cupcake.
I don't, it's so good. It tastes like Power Rangers and Crash Test Dummies.
A little bit of Sailor Moon and Princess sitcom on the back end.
I'm getting the sensation that nothing can go wrong.
Perfect. Want to try our 9/11 trauma cupcake?
I'll pass on that one.
What about the...
I'll also pass on the War on Terror one.
What about the internet or Breaking Bad cupcakes?
Is this tank magical or what? How... Wait. What's happening to my stomach?
Oh, the egg is hatching.
What egg?
Oh, it's not like an alien is going to burst from your chest. That's a harmful stereotype. The egg just hatches compliance to me in all matters pertaining to whistleblowing.
Well, I'm suddenly okay with all of this. I guess I'll lie about this place to my boss until I can forge up some paperwork.
Excellent. Would you like an imposter syndrome cupcake for the road?
No, thanks. The egg is already making me not do my job.
Oh my god, I feel so much better. I was like trying to be like incisive and smart, and I had to piss so bad.
No, same. Absolutely the same.
I felt like every point in every conversation that we were having in the meantime was just like painfully get through your points as quick as possible because I get to
Come on. Oh yeah, I feel a lot better.
That's what they should do instead of hot ones. Is they should just like have a show where you have to drink a bunch of like water.
You have to pee really bad.
And you just have to, and like the interview doesn't, like you just wait 5 hours until you like critically got to piss, and then you like ask the celebrity a bunch of questions.
Just drink a shit ton of diuretics beforehand.
Mm-hmm. All right, Chelsea, you here too?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
All right.
Chelsea, I can't believe you had to go piss so bad.
I know. I just, my
With your
bladder,
dumb-
that's just all the Turkish
Embarrassing.
coffee I drank.
Turkish coffee.
I'm having some language difficulties today.
Yeah, today. Silent Hill draws me closer and fucks me like an animal. This is by Laraqua?
Laraqua?
Laraqua? The last one was by ShadowFrost. So thank you, both authors. This one is rated M, fiction M, not nonfiction M.
A young woman returns to Silent Hill only to find the shifting realities perfect for dealing with life's little problems. But is she using Silent Hill, or is Silent Hill using her?
There are 3 chapters to this.
You know, that's not a bad idea in general. Is just like what, Silent Hill manipulating people to do evil things.
Yeah, that is an interesting take where everyone kind of like stumbles into Silent Hill and they have to figure out what the fuck's going on. This person knows and is like, I'm going to use it to my advantage. That's subversion.
Yeah, you look at everybody looks at Silent Hill 2, and Silent Hill 2 has this like whole the town is like working you through your trauma thing. The other games aren't like that as much. Silent Hill 1 isn't about like working through your trauma. Silent Hill 3 isn't. Silent Hill 4 isn't. But everybody focuses on Silent Hill 2's like psychological elements. All of them have psychological horror there. It's just in Silent Hill 2, the town is like a therapist. And in the other games, the town is like a cult that has like weird supernatural things going on. Anyway. This is the place, a long, winding, twisting road and turning around the large hill, a steep cliff rising up to the left, a more gentle decline to the right. Sadie could see her reflection in the bus window, almost comical in the waning light. Full lips smeared with red paint, rosy pink blush standing out against the pale white of her flesh.
She didn't use lipstick. She just painted her lips.
Oh, no.
With cadmium red.
Oh, no.
Oil cadmium red. She's like, the cadmium tastes delicious in my liver.
The oil paints, they just taste so good.
That's what Chelsea says when she's making out with me. Give me all of the dead palate. Black circles around her eyes from where the mascara had run with her tears.
So already, I mean, a little bit more My Chemical Romance, but this feels more on brand for Silent Hill than our previous story did for Resident Evil, in my opinion.
Have you ever played Silent Hill Shattered Memories?
I watched a playthrough of it.
I love that they turned Dahlia Gillespie from like an old lady into like a hot goth chick. Was perfect, and I like the idea of that doesn't change. Like the Dahlia Gillespie from Silent Hill 1 that's an old lady is just the goth chick. She's not dressed that way because she's part of a cult. She's just a goth chick, and she just happens to be old.
Mm-hmm. She was coming... Oh, sorry, you need to finish. No, you did finish. Sorry. Yeah. She was coming home. It was the thing she had come to talk about endlessly, wondering when her release date would be, with only the hope of one day returning to the comfort of loved ones. Oh, is she coming from prison?
I guess so.
Reaching into her purse, scrabbling amongst the matchbooks, lipsticks, and loose change. So she has lipstick, but still painted her face. Weird.
No.
Finally.
Okay, let's be clear. She put lipstick on.
She did.
It just says paint.
Finally settling on a small nail manicure she kept in a gold compact.
We're not that other podcast.
We're not. With trembling fingers, she tried to remove the skin and blood from beneath the nails. Even though she could not see them, she knew they must be there. Okay,
so she's a little psychotic. She's like, okay, there's clearly blood under my nails, even though in reality there isn't any. Okay, so we're the this is like third person, but this is an unreliable character so far.
Yes.
Scraps of him, pieces of him, caught under her nails from the fight that had started years ago. The beginning of the end had happened when she dug her nails across his face, clawing at him. It had been her day. A wonderful day at the Art Institute of Renmark, a small city in California, where an entire room had been set up to show off her works of art.
Our Art Institute, total scam.
Total scam.
I don't know if you know this, but all art schools are a scam, but especially Art Institute brand colleges, scam. Blatantly so. Do you live here? The brunette man leaned across the aisle to speak with her. She looked over at him, checking him out as she would an artwork, detecting subtle nuances of personality in his clothes and manners. His eyes darted about constantly, his head facing the bus driver, tilting first this way and then that, one ankle hooked behind the other. What?
Oh, he's leaning over and he's balancing on one foot with the other foot behind it. It makes sense. It's just a weird, like, you wouldn't even need to point that out. It causes more confusion than it needs to. I get what they're saying. It's just like, you didn't need to do that.
Causes more confusion unnecessarily. Here for the later Silent Hill games made by Americans.
Yeah. What? Silent Hill. This where you live? No. She looks back out the window. Have you been there before? Look, what is your problem? I'm sitting here minding my own business. Think any of the rumors are true? She slumped against the seat and took a deep breath. Great. A tourist.
A tourist.
You're the great Sadie Collins, right? He was looking directly at her now.
Sadie. Sadie. But I like to call someone, whatever, Sadie. Yeah, you're sad. I'll let you Sadie. You.
I like that as a 4chan insult against a person who is chronically depressed. Shut up, you fucking Sadie.
Oh, no.
It's so needlessly brutal.
So bad.
The room is about you, true? You don't look very wholesome. Meaning what? I'm a little upset, okay? The exhibition didn't go so well. Look, I had a really tough time lately, in case you haven't noticed. I'm not really... Her voice cracked and she pressed a hand to her mouth. I'm not really prepared for any of this.
She's acting like Maria from Silent Hill 2. Like, just slightly unhinged. But this is our pro tag. Interesting.
And she's also kind of acting like this was written in 2003, so it was before the movie came out. But the second Silent Hill movie has Heather acting like really bratty. And like the original Heather was like a little bit bratty, but like only when she thought a guy was kind of like being like a creep or a pervo or something. But like for the most part, she was like, you know, a nice, young, polite teenager. But there is that going on. She's kind of being standoffish, and I like that in the character. Where are we at?
I know.
I know it's roughed. What with Patrick not wanting to keep silent, his voice was low and she almost didn't catch what he said. What? Apparently she didn't catch what he said because he said, what? Patrick, I know all about him, and I got the letters. I followed you from his house. You look really guilty right now. You could probably turn around. This could probably turn out real bad for you in the divorce courts. Just see your face. What?
What the? Oh, okay. So there's a divorce happening, and she's trying to hold an art exhibit.
And the art exhibit didn't go well, and she's going to Silent Hill for some reason.
What? No, this is a flashback.
This is a flashback, and this is in California at the Art Institute of Renmark.
Right.
Well, I'm upset because some vandal went and trashed some of my paintings. She shrugged and got off her seat, standing in the aisle. Deep breath now. I spent all of yesterday in the police station explaining. Never had time to do anything.
Okay, sorry, real quickly. I don't know shit about art, but I know if in the modern world, if someone trashed your painting, that probably just increased its like value and allure because someone came in and destroyed it. Now look at me.
Leave it? Yeah, for political reasons, yeah. So like if your art has a political statement and then somebody violates that, then you get all the victim bucks in the world, obviously, right? But here's the fun thing. Did I ever tell you about the time that a person had their art vandalized at CCAD and everybody knew who did it and nobody told it because the person who had their art vandalized was such a piece of shit?
No way.
Okay. Well-known piece of shit, person that everybody hates. And like, listen, it's one of those things where I could like bore you endlessly with a bunch of drama that doesn't matter. All you need to know is that this person is just a despicable piece of shit.
Okay.
As like, had sex with a person who was cheating on a person and just like being a dick outside of that, always like demeaning other people's art, like, just being a piece of shit, like not like criticizing, just being a piece of shit. Anyway, just hate this person, okay? For the sake of my story, just hate this person. I'm not going to go in and explain all the fucking details about why we all. So he makes this piece of art that is like a sculpture of him because he's a fucking egotist. He makes a sculpture of himself with a hero cape on because again, he's a fucking douche. Okay, is it getting clear to you how much we hate this person? He makes
You guys just Captain Hero from Down Together.
You're right. I'm realizing now that all I had to say was he makes a sculpture of himself where he's wearing a hero cape. He makes it, installs it in a public toilet for some fucking reason. Are we getting a picture of who this person is from their
Brandon, this is the best story you've ever told. I love it.
The sculpture is bad.
This sounds like a story we would make up about something. This is amazing. There's a sculpture of them. It's a self-sculpture in a public toilet.
Okay, if anybody remembers the creepypasta I wrote called Radical Origins Collective about like, do you remember that? Vaguely about like the two artists that are just like, no, you got to make. Okay, this is a real person. Radical Origins Collective is a real person, and this is the person that I'm talking about. Okay, so this person makes a sculpture of themselves dressed up in a fucking hero outfit, puts it in a public toilet that everybody can use. Somebody goes in there and steals the head off the sculpture, breaks it off, and takes it based. Would not advise this for anyone else. Okay, this is a specific situation where art vandalism is hilarious and funny. He goes around asking everybody if they know who did it. 100% of us know who did it.
It was Brandon.
It was not Brandon. It was not Brandon. It was a close friend of Brandon, but we all knew who did it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody told him. And I think that was his point where he like realized, oh, I am hated. I have been hated here for 4 years. Everybody has tolerated my ass for 4 years. And this is me reaping what I sow.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
And the last day of school, the head showed up in the middle of the quad.
That's beautiful.
It had some like rude note written on it, but I can't remember what it said. But yeah, no, we all protected the single individual who did the thing.
That is beautiful, real life poetic justice. Oh my god, that's awesome.
He's an agoraphobe now.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Giant dick to everybody around him for no reason, and is an agoraphobe. Sometimes life just works out.
You reap what you sow. You really do.
He's an American hikikomori.
Okay, you know what? Do we need to come up with an actual anglicized version of hikikomori for Westerners, or do we just keep it hikikomori?
Wouldn't it just be shut-in?
Yeah, but that's a boring word. Hikikomori has a certain flair to it.
Well, like shut-in is also a classical term where, like, if you call it, like, you could say that Chelsea and I are shut-ins because, we only go out like once a month and we don't hang out with our IRL friends very much, even though we keep in contact. So we're kind of shut in. So it's like that doesn't describe the heinous level of shut-inness that people have. Like Chelsea and I aren't afraid to go outside. We go outside for our jobs all the time.
Sure.
We go on dates, like stuff. So like shut-in really doesn't do justice to just how fucked up that is.
I'm a shut-in by virtue of the fact that I work from home. So I also go out, but like Paprika has to tear me like away from my computer because of how much I work. So you could definitely call me a shut-in, but no, like I like going out with friends too. So like, I don't know. Hikikomori is just such a wonderful word. It's really good.
Okay. So for those people who aren't following, hikikomori is a term in Japan, it means like push pull. It's like a person who is like pushed away from society and is like stuck in their apartment and just doesn't leave. Mm-hmm. It's like the most extreme version of someone afraid of going outside that you could imagine.
Yeah, like, and this will persist for years at a time.
To the point where if somebody doesn't bring them food, they will die.
They will, yeah.
It's like that bad.
Isn't it like becoming worse? Like the percentage is increasing? In
Japan, yes, and also around the world. Like culture is getting atomized to the point where people aren't leaving their houses. And you know, there for every person like us who just prefers to not go out all the time, there's somebody that doesn't have a healthy relationship with their home, work life, third place balance.
Yeah. So that's the real horror, people.
The reason that Chelsea and I are so boring as people is because we're in a stable relationship and we just don't need a whole lot of friend contact because we have each other. Like, not everybody has that. Mm-hmm. Not everybody has the same reason to be boring people that we are. Where are we in this story?
Blah, 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 blah.
I cannot find this.
You should take it because you only read that first line of dialogue. You should take a few lines of dialogue. So it's under Patrick. I know all about him. Blah blah blah.
Oh.
Patrick, why am I Patrick? Sorry. Well, I'm upset because of some vandals went and trashed some of my paintings. She shrugged off and got out of her seat, standing in the aisle. Deep breaths now. I spent all yesterday in the police station explaining. Never had the time to do anything. Okay. Did I read that wrong or am I stupid?
No, that was correct.
Time to do what? She looked at him, smiled. He withdrew a sheath of Polaroids, waving them at her, wiggling his eyebrows. See? Look, when somebody picks this up, the number of fingers that she holds up is going to go up, according to how many people get hit by cars. Cute, she said. All right, let's talk right here, right now. I prefer us to do it somewhere more private. She nodded, smiled again, and headed for the bus driver. Stop right here. I want to get off. The bus driver shook his head. You crazy lady? Sit down. The door open the door right now. She drew a cigarette from her pocket, lit it. Asshole. She looked at the sweating, balding, middle-aged man. His pants was ridden halfway down his butt cheeks, and a glance in the wrong direction revealed a few inches of butt crack. She remembered what bus drivers did to open the door.
Okay, I'm wrong. This is not a flashback.
Okay.
I am a bit lost. Hold on. So
I'm a bit lost too, but I will say that I don't dislike the characters involved.
No, I just want to make sure I know where we're at. So she's on a bus going home and blah, blah, blah. She thinks about the past, the beginning of the end that happened when she dug her nails across his face, clawing at him. It had been her day, a wonderful day at the Art Institute when her entire room had been set up to show off her works of art. Do you live here? Our brunette man leaned across the aisle to speak to her, as in the aisle in the bus. So, and then he says, do you live here in Silent Hill? She says, what are you talking about? So she doesn't realize she's going to Silent Hill, but I thought she did because that was the conceit.
I thought she was from Silent Hill, went to California, and now she's going back to Silent Hill after the vandalism.
Maybe. But then he's blackmailing her about her divorce.
I mean, I know we're getting off track about the time that somebody stole a head from CCAD, but like...
No, this is... I'm a little confused.
I'm a little confused. I think that this, needs some clarification here.
So she's on the bus talking to the dude, and he's like, let's go somewhere private. You're on a... Oh, okay, but then tells the bus driver, stop right here, I want to get off. Okay.
I can't tell if I'm like pulling from other Silent Hill media, but is this guy supposed to be a creep?
Yeah, I think he's blackmailing her. So,
okay.
Because they talk about the divorce. I had a bad time. That just happened. Okay, so she went to California. Vandalism happened. She spent the rest of the day at the police station, is now coming back, attacked somebody at the art exhibit is what it sounds like, and I'm guessing he has pictures of it happening.
Okay,
maybe it will all come together. I think that's where we're at.
Hopefully. Whose turn is it?
My turn. Step right here, I want to get off. The bus driver shook his head. You crazy lady? Sit down. Open the door right now. She drew a cigarette from her pocket, lit it, asshole. It's just asshole. It's not internal dialogue. Asshole.
No.
She looked at the sweating, balding male. Oh, you already read this. Get behind the line. The bus driver swatted at her legs just as the bus started going around the corner. The steady decline dropped more sharply around the bend. This bend. She remembered this road and everything that was a part of it. She dropped the lit cigarette down the back of his pants. That is, for multiple reasons, a terrible idea. She watched her jaw.
Am I wrong in thinking that is an aggravated assault?
100%. And that, also, someone's driving a bus. Don't interfere with a driver. And also, you're going around a steep cliff or something. I think we can tell what's going to happen.
Okay, here's what I'm pitching that happens, because we're a little unclear on this. Here's what I want to happen. The cigarette goes down his ass. It burns him really badly. He swerves. They all go down a hill, and all of them die except for her. Mm-hmm. And then she gets taken to Silent Hill, where it is her personal hell that everybody puts her on trial for the manslaughter of everybody on the bus.
And that would make perfect sense if the opening of this wasn't she's using Silent Hill to deal with her problems. So that implies she has prior knowledge of Silent Hill. Now, I could be way off, but it feels very incongruent with the summary.
Nobody thinks that Silent Hill is supposed to be a therapist, including the people in Silent Hill 2.
True.
Jane goes there because he gets a letter from his wife, and that's his own thing that I won't spoil for people who haven't played it. But he goes there, and he doesn't think that he thinks he's just going to meet with his wife, who he knows is dead. He's confused about that.
But he also doesn't know what Silent Hill is. He just knows it's a town.
He went there on vacation. That's all he knew. Other people go there, and they had issues as well, but they didn't think that Silent Hill was like a paranormal therapist place. It just ended up being that. They got attracted there without realizing it.
Yeah.
So she can't, if there is like a paranormal power there, it'd be weird that she has like knowledge of it for some reason.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think it's Chelsea's turn.
It is.
What?
All right.
She watched.
She watched, her jaw dropping open as the bus driver leapt to his feet, knocking the wheel sideways. She was knocked sideways out of the open door, thrown a few feet before she hit a bush, rolled across it, and laid down the decline. The rocks and pebbles grazed her bare skin, tearing her crows.
Crows? Tearing her crows apart.
The thorny branches of the shrubs tore at her clothes. If she hit her head against the rock a size of her fist, that would be the end of it.
But she didn't, so never mind.
But she didn't, so the story continues.
Oh, it says Sadie's head didn't hit any rocks. The fuck? Why put it in then?
I like the idea of a story that just tells you a bunch of things that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of a story being in first or third person or something, it's a story based in like things that didn't happen. Once upon a time, long, long ago, in a place that doesn't exist, people that didn't exist did things that didn't happen.
Goodbye.
I like the idea of like a weird religious cult that gets mad at the idea of fictional stories that don't recount things that actually happen, so everything has to be clarified that way. Snake, who didn't exist, went to Shadow Moses, where there was a nuclear base that didn't exist, with nuclear weapons armed for
I mean, that's just like evangelical Christianity trying to rewrite textbooks. 20 million years ago, which didn't happen because the Earth was made 6,000 years ago.
Oh my God. No, it's just like religious people that used to make paintings of like Greek gods and stuff. It's like, these Greek gods and goddesses, who must I remind you, did not exist. Anyway, here's their story of the things that didn't exist. Also, here's this painting of Jesus. He did exist, and all the things that he did were real.
Yep.
That's literally what they did. That was literally a day in the life of Michelangelo.
Brandon's turn. Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to read this next paragraph.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Sadie's head didn't hit any rocks. After rolling halfway down the hill, she had slowed enough for a large bush to stop her. She laid there, breathing heavily. Her chest hurt like hell, and she guessed she'd cracked a few ribs. Her entire body was a mass of cuts and scratches. When she felt her nose, she nearly jumped out of her skin. It was a bloody mass of pulp. No more Miss Silent Hill beauty contest for her. No siree.
So she does live in Silent Hill.
Okay. Well, I guess there is like a time frame because I think it was like sometime in the 90s that like Silent Hill got shut down and like as a town, like got in, what's the term? Unincorporated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like a ghost town where it gets unincorporated. And before that, it was just like an active, normal town that people went to. So maybe this is like set sometime in like the 70s or something. This shit needs to be cleared up.
Yeah.
Especially for a fanfic.
After a few minutes, she sat up, checking her limbs. None were broken. Damn.
But
What?
You want broken limbs?
I want to break all of my limbs, apparently.
Do you want to like try and sue the bus driver, which you can't because you burned him with a fucking cigarette?
Oh my lord. Sadie laughed, examining her cuts and struggling to get up. The rush of adrenaline was incredible. I like the idea that it says that she's laying down with broken ribs for a few minutes. And then she just sits up and all of a sudden has a burst of adrenaline.
Yeah, the adrenaline would happen right then, not later.
Could you imagine that as a movie? There's like a bus crash and she's like thrown through the window and like falls on the ground and she just lays there. And then it just like the camera holds on her for like 5 minutes and then she gets up. It was just like the time before, except even better. This time it wasn't meticulous and she wondered whether she'd get away with this was amazing. How many people were on the bus?
Huh.
So I guess she had precognition this was going to happen. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. So she's definitely using Silent Hill. She's aware of what Silent Hill is.
She thought back as she put on her gloves. One old bag, 2 teeny boppers, and their angry father, the blackmailer, and the bus driver. She climbed up to the road, the adrenaline largely wiping the pain that hammered at her chest with every step.
I don't know if I like Silent Hill being turned into Groundhog Day.
I wonder if, is this the thing that's happening where she's like, where Silent Hill is, the town itself is kind of like a vampire and she's Renfield that's just like bringing people with personal problems here to get killed and live through a purgatory thing for Silent Hill's enjoyment?
The problem is this asks too many questions about the nature of Silent Hill that I don't feel should be asked because it's not that deep. Like the point of Silent Hill is that you go in there, you didn't intentionally really do it. You don't know what you're getting into, and you're going to go through a journey of introspection because there's things about yourself that you have problems with. Breaking down like, well, I can go into Silent. This is like game theorying Silent Hill. It's not supposed to be that intricate.
Let's take this away from Silent Hill. Let's say that it's just weird purgatory therapist town, and it's not Silent Hill specifically. This is an interesting concept, though.
It can be, yeah. It's unfortunately veiled in something else, but yes.
It's failed in something else, and the writing isn't as tight, and the pacing isn't as tight as it needs to be. But I think the idea of her just like wrecking the bus to get bodies here to be psychoanalyzed for some sick torture, some sort of like Stephen King torture, is not a bad idea.
It
could be executed. Like if this was executed better, I would be all for this.
Yeah,
like this would be eaten up by No Sleep if it was written well in a giant series of like, I caused a bus crash, but that's the least of the problems.
Well, it would never make it on No Sleep because they'd have to say, yeah, but she wasn't scared when she was doing it. Make sure to say that she was really scared when she was doing it. So
the bus wasn't as damaged as she had hoped it would be. Sure, it was dented in a lot of places and the windows had shattered, but it was mostly whole. At least in the movies, it would be on fire. She looked around for a weapon. A large shard of glass was attached to a piece of the window sill that had been torn off of the bus in the fall. Hiccups. What that would do. She picked it up and climbed into the bus. Through the window on the other side of the bus, she could see the teeny boppers lying in the grass outside, crawling away. The kid might have noticed, so she had to deal with that. Teeny bopper is a term that is not used anymore.
No.
Unfortunate. So she's trying to kill the people on the bus?
Twould appear?
Twould appear so.
Where am I? Help me?
The bus driver.
Bus driver. The bus driver was dead. A few moments checking his pulse proved that. The bag lady's head hung at an obscene angle. The other teeny bopper had her head through a window, her throat was slit, and her juices were making pretty patterns on the cracked glass shards. The father was obviously dead. Help me! She looked over at the blackmailer. One of his arms were trapped between the seats in front of him, and the seat he sat on had broken, crushing his right leg. His free arm flailed in her direction. Sadie took his hand, gripping it and looking at him in wide-eyed disbelief. You survived? Hurts! She smiled gently, squeezing his hand sympathetically. I never saw anyone die before.
Smiles gently here for okay. That's pretty cool. All right. Okay. Not smiling a lot, but a gentle smile.
Need help. I need. Oh, God. Can you see a bright light? She asked, retrieving the sheath of Polaroids that had been miraculously caught between the two seats. I'd never seen anybody about to die before. Not gonna die. Yes, you will, she said, gripping the hand he held out to her. She moved it directly over the broken shards left inside the nearby window, drove it down into the glass, and then pulled it free to increase the blood loss.
Okay, everybody, welcome to your orientation at You Will Eventually Die Old Folks Home.
Oh, no.
Death is real, and it's coming for you soon.
Sooner than you would expect, but not as soon as you would hope.
Oh, damn.
I do hope that like old folks home have euthanasia policies by the time that I have to be in an old folks home.
God, dude, I'm dreading being like 70 years old. Just put me in a room with an ancient ass Game Boy and let me just expire on my own. Jesus.
That's the way to go.
You know, I'm assuming by the time that we get to be that old, that if we take care of ourselves, we'll probably, not be in too bad a shape.
That's the problem. I don't want to live to be 120, but that's like the rate things are going, is we're just going to be living really, really, really long lives. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see.
That's true.
And then Chelsea finished. Did you finish that?
Nope.
No, I just forgot what part of the paragraph I was at. He swore, and she hushed him.
Shushed
the
him.
Word is hush.
Shushed.
Shut
up.
Shut up. Watching him curiously before grabbing him by the shoulder and trying to grab him from the seat, causing the blood to flow even more freely from his leg. If anyone asked, she had been trying to help him. Watching him until he fell unconscious, kept moving his limbs to keep the blood flowing out.
So why don't you just like slit the throat?
Yeah. There's a weird sadism here happening.
I'm wondering if this is supposed to be like there will be an investigation, and so she's like trying to like make it look like an accident.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is, and she just doesn't want to. But even then, I think you could just go to wherever the cuts are and just like cut them open more.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would like notice forensically.
It even kind of set it up. She said she looked for a weapon. Oh, there was a shard of glass that she could use, and nothing was done with that.
Yeah, and like all of the cuts on him should be from shards of glass, so like it wouldn't. I don't think it would look suspicious. I'm not trying to give people advice on what to do if you cause a car crash and then want to kill all the witnesses, but like I'm just saying. Then she went outside with the girl on the grass. Dead, she tossed the gloves to the floor. A terrified girl would do that, no doubt. Trying to get the blood as far away as possible, she dropped the glass weapon, unused, and cut her arm on the broken glass. Walking on broken glass. Careful to not hurt her hand or any major arteries, because this is what sweet dreams are made of. Anybody have any other Annie Lixton songs to pass around? Sadie.
Who's that girl lying dead on the grass?
This girl is dead on the grass. She died in a bus crash. Slit her throat with a piece of glass.
Here comes the bus again. I put a cigarette down the driver's ass.
Some of them want to ride with you. Some of them want to go
blackmail you.
Polaroids in a stack. Sadie headed for town.
Annie Lennox, by the way, fucking legend. So you don't know who that is?
She is the sweetest thing ever.
She's amazing.
and everybody who talks about her in the way of just like, can you believe a white woman makes soulful music? It's just the fucking weirdest thing about.
And everyone, no, I don't have anything against fucking what's her name? Neo gospel singer did God, I'm blanking on fucking popular music.
Neo gospel singer, I don't know.
Well, that's what they call it now. God damn it. She did You Could Have Had It All. Fucking what's her name? Rolling in the Deep.
Oh, Adele.
Everyone's like, Adele's so soulful. I'm like, Annie Lennox did this like 30 years ago. It's not like, again, nothing against it, but it's not some new hip thing. And if we still had like patron saints and stuff, like Annie Lennox should be the patron saint of Scotland because she's fucking awesome. This is fucking cool.
Yeah, she's great. And if you go back and like watch her music videos, they're all excellent.
You know what's crazy is like, so Eurythmics was her and a dude, and they were married and they divorced, but they just kept doing Eurythmics after it because they're like, the music is more important than like whatever our drama is. And that's just like so wholesome to see in the music industry.
I mean, like a lot of really wholesome bands do that because you had the same thing with the White Stripes. You had the same thing happening inside of Paramore. Paramore had that issue where
okay, I was always confused about that because I never followed Paramore closely enough to know what was happening. So they like hired her but like she was never part of the band, or she was, and what happened there?
Okay, so the whole thing was, I believe, was the bassist and her were in a relationship, and then they broke up, and like it did nothing to the band. The band continued on perfectly fine.
Oh, good.
So they just like had a healthy relationship about it, And if you ever watch them live, it's really clear that everybody in the band has a huge love for each other.
Yeah.
So like nothing changed,
Back to the story. I think there's something really nice here. I don't think it's really going to fit into Silent Hill very well because of how much of a weird like exploration of the mechanics are. And like these mechanics really do not need to be broken down or subverted because then you kind of lose the point. If it was a bit more on, because there's 2 other chapters that have been written, which is a rarity for these fucking things that we read on this site.
And if you really want us to read those next 2 chapters, please let us know in the comments below. Otherwise, I think we're going to end it here.
If this video gets to 10,000 likes, we will read the next 2 chapters.
Or if people have an outcrying of like, I kind of want to see where this goes.
Yeah, no, we'll do it.
Just let us know in the comments if you think it's worth continuing on. But, I think that, like you're saying, this doesn't necessarily fit with Silent Hill. But I really do think that there might be something interesting here. It is an interesting concept of like being a person that will bring dead bodies to go through a psychological Jacob's Ladder torture is not a bad idea.
It's definitely like I've seen this in some Netflix show somewhere, but just the way the author has presented it here is intriguing. And that's high praise coming from this fucking podcast.
It does remind me of struggling with trying to figure out the pacing of a short story, which is an issue I deal with a lot. And hopefully I'm getting better with as an author, but also having an interesting concept in that bad pacing is always just like, if you just tighten this up and if you just took the whole story and rewrote it to not be, it would be really good.
This would be great if it wasn't so bad.
The Brandon Patrick story. The story'd be good if you just rewrote it to not be bad. Well, this was fun. A fun excursion into Silent Hill.
And you know what? I didn't hear one complaint about like how anime is bad and how I gotta go feed my cat. It's pretty nice.
That's pretty nice. I've seen people trying to get Slimebeast to watch Neon Genesis Evangelion, and I'm like, that's never going to happen.
No.
You could get Slimebeast to watch a lot of anime, but he would watch 2 episodes of Evangelion and say, nope, I hate this.
He would watch 2 minutes of the first episode and say, I hate this. That being said, I watched Perfect Blue for the first time the other week. Man.
I like it.
Oh, I loved it. Really, and very relevant, especially now. Like I bet you he would like Perfect Blue. You know?
Oh no, I'm sure that he would greatly enjoy Perfect Blue. I bet that he would enjoy other Satoshi Kon stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not Millennium Actress. I bet he would love Paranoia Agent. It would be impossible to get him to watch Paranoia Agent.
Yeah.
But if you could like force him into a chair and watch Paranoia Agent for 21 minutes, he would be like, okay.
I think if we could get him on Perfect Blue, that would be the gateway to maybe other stuff, because it's a self-contained movie. It's really, really good. But yeah, no, I saw that and I was like, holy shit, Paprika's got to watch this. This is amazing.
Perfect Blue, we did a video on Cinema Nippon about it, where myself and Cinema Nippon, we discussed Perfect Blue and actually kind of went into other things that were happening around the time. You know, we're getting into this conversation about private life versus perfect life, private life versus public life.
I'm living my perfect life, okay?
And, you know, there's a big conversation right now online about, you know, do Twitch streamers owe you a certain level of intimacy, and what is that? And is there this expectation? And can a person be one thing on stream and another thing in private? And we're figuring all of that stuff out, and it's only getting weirder. It's only gotten weirder since Perfect Blue as a movie was released. The issues to talk about are just so much more present now.
They are, and like I'm not watching him as much now because GTRP is just really hitting a very low point, which just because the server's a piece of shit. Mm-hmm. But Penta loves to clown on the whole, like he will call out the parasocial relationship when it's happening constantly. He is very appreciative of the people who do support him, but he will never miss a chance to say, like, you know, for the people who said they saw me at a gas station, I'm not acknowledging you. Fuck off. Or like, everyone, you know, wants me to do blank and it's just social eating streams. You guys are weird and I don't like you and I will ban you if you keep asking me. But it's this very interesting, it's a look into someone who's on Twitch and who is big, constantly just like no holds barred. No, that's creepy and I don't like it. And that is indicative of this weird parasocial relationship we have. It's like, fuck, man. It is, seeing it in real time just makes Perfect Blue so fucking relevant.
And, you know, some people might be listening to you saying that kind of stuff and say, like, well, I kind of like think of you guys as friends when I listen to this podcast, and I kind of feel like I'm in the same room. And it's just like, that is fine because this is a small, tight-knit community. You're perfectly fine to think of us as friends because this is a small thing. We don't have a big enough audience to emotionally manipulate you. But if this podcast ever took off, we would have to have that conversation about, like, you know, right now it's like 1,000 of you. We can keep up with 1,000 of you. Most of that 1,000 don't even converse with us and are just happy to be in the shadows. Those of you that do, we're perfect. We can keep up with all of you. We know what's going on in your lives and how things are going on. This is like a close-knit community. If it got to be like 10,000, then we're not your friends anymore. Like, that, it doesn't scale. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like, that, I know everyone who supports the channel really wants to see it grow, and we do too, obviously, but we all have to live with the reality that if it gets to a certain size, the nature of all of this has to change, and that might be a bad thing. Like, that will materially affect the show.
When we set out with this podcast, my whole thing was like, anybody who wants to hear me talk, then they can hear me talk. I am done trying to like grow or like have this be a side hustle. I'm just happy with this being like a little friendship thing. Yeah. And so that doesn't square with what would happen if this did blow up. And if it did, we would have to have that conversation early on. If there was ever like a spike or something in our viewership, we would have to have that conversation. And I know that all of us, because we've seen abuses in the Creepypasta community specifically, we would have to be very open and just say, like, listen, there's a lot of predatory behavior going out there. Just be aware that you don't know what's actually going on in our lives, and we could manipulate you. We won't, but we could. We really could. It's just be aware of that. Like, unfortunately, with how things are right now, for us to get to that point of growth would, and I use this term very, like, you know, almost ironically, selling out.
Like, we would have to do the things that get you traction in this community, and a lot of them are very unsavory, and I don't like them. So the chances of that happening are rather low at this point. If they happen organically, cool, but I'm not holding my breath.
Which is what's so hard about growing the youtube.com/creepypasta channel is the fact that we actually have to put in the work. We actually have to write the stories. We have to do the editing. We have to do the music. We have to, have the artist and commission the artist and do all of that kind of stuff. And thankfully, Double has been a champ, and he's just been an equal partner on all of this shit, putting in all of the work. I'm not making money. Abysmii's not making money. We're just doing it because we love it. Double isn't making a whole lot of money. We pay him here and there where we can, just because we love him as an artist. He's putting in the work. We're just doing this because we want to. Other people aren't doing that. They just get a following and they just outsource everything and narrate it and don't even edit it themselves. So we can't do that.
I'm very, very proud of the work that we all did on this latest batch, especially. I think it's very refreshing. I liked the amount of creative freedom we all had. We've made quote unquote narration videos that are unlike pretty much anything else you will see in this niche. But the most viewed video that we ever get traction from is the 3-hour compilation, because that's what the algorithm wants. And unless you want to just keep churning those out, this is not going to grow our channel. So anything we do is purely for the love of it. Because, we can't post a story a day. It's just, with our current schedules, it's not possible.
Yeah, and it would be nice if we could do that. And
sure.
If we had more equal partners to do that kind of stuff. But, I know Slimebeast's concern is just okay, well, we just can't pay a whole lot of people to come online and do their work for us. And we do want to try and, as fairly compensate people as much as possible. But this is ultimately just something we do out of passion. So it feels like getting a bunch of money involved is just a headache.
It's just not feasible right now. So, yeah.
Especially with all of us having nice, fulfilling lives outside of doing this as well.
Like I said last episode, that channel is it's the lowest on the priorities, even though we're serious about it and we love it, but a lot of shit has to come first, unfortunately. That's just how it is. And I see comments on the channel of is this channel dead? No, it's not. Sorry, we're working. We can't release things all the time. I'm sorry.
Especially trying to keep up with Fearfic sketches, which...
yeah. So much shit. The personal life stuff, all sorts of things. It's just how it is. This is the adult approach to YouTube. If it's not your job, sorry. It's not... You can't do it every day. But what you can do every day is smash that like button on this video.
Smash that like button.
I'm so done being hey, everybody, like, comment, and subscribe, because I know you all do, and we have a very high retention rate of returning viewers. So thank you. Keep it up. I'm not expecting you to fucking grow our channel. YouTube doesn't want to, and there's nothing we can do about that.
Oh my God, every subscriber watched every video that was released this month. New subscribers, 2.
2. Fucking 2.
All right, YouTube. Okay. I guess we found everybody in the niche, and YouTube is just nope, nobody else wants this.
That's all you get.
No.
Which is not true.
Fine.
It's literally the amount of minutes you put out there equals subscribers.
Yeah.
We could just let this episode go on, just shooting the shit, not talking about everything, just talking about anything. It's hey, Chelsea, how was your poop today?
Fantastic.
Did you have a good poop?
Yeah, the one.
100%.
The one poop? Yeah.
Just the one.
Yeah, the other one we
don't know
talk
Chelsea
about.
very well.
I don't. Well, this is semi-interesting, because there's people who poop 3 times a day, and then people who poop once every 3 days. It's just, that's how your body does it,
What do you mean you don't poop every time you piss? Is that not normal?
Nope.
Chelsea, you have any parting comments for this episode?
I do not. It was just interesting listening to you two talk, honestly.
Yeah, we're pretty cool.
You are.
Thank you. And we didn't do enough Frisky Dingo. Tell us a Frisky Dingo before you go.
Boosh.
Yeah, that counts.
That counts.
That technically counts.
Boosh and or cacao.
Precisely. Vote for Killface 2024.